The next winner is Christine Kelly. And the fourth winner here is Christy Sherman. The next category is Nature at its Best for wildlife. And there are three winners here. The first is Will Green. Don't think Will is here. The next is Dan Frost, and the third is Patty Lucas. Nature at its Best for landscape. The first winner is Avery Tin. The next winner is Amanda Wilson. And the third is Happy Famularo. Did I show that? Okay, the next category is for our runners-up. And I'm just, the next category is for our runners-up. And I am just going to read the list of names. First, we have Rosalind Kachatorian. Grace Strickland. Amanda Wilson. Christy Sherman. Avery Tin. Grace Strickland. Sarah Goodman. Michael Bauman. Happy Famularo. Sarah Merritt. Absolutely. Congratulations. Next is Jason Lee. Liam Green. Karen Pierre. Julie Donnelly. Congratulations. And last of this group is Leslie Winslow. And now for honorable mentions. Christine Kelly. Ibrahim Gunay. Dan Frost. Denise Andrew. Leslie Matson. Russell Romanelli. Susan Shenaman. Philip Feidelberg, Michael Clayton, and Noreen McCartan. Thank you to everyone. And who's taking the group shot?
I'll take the group shot. And just to let everybody know, everybody was allowed to submit 3 photos.
Okay. All right, we're going to continue on with our meeting and we're glad to see everyone here. So the first order of business is the approval of the consent agenda. All items under the general consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a trustee so requests. In that event, the discussion will be the first item of business after the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I believe there's a date correction on the minutes.
That was the one thing I
Trustee
wanted to
Smith?
note was that they're dated as May 19th and the trustee meeting should be June 2nd.
Okay, we'll make that correction. Are there any other corrections or changes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Trustee Rath.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
And Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. The first item of business is our finance director's report and the presentation of the 2025 audit. Director Vasquez, please.
Thank you, Mayor Ford. My main item to bring up tonight is our audit presentation, but I have a few other items to discuss first. Our Finance Committee met earlier today. Among the topics discussed were banking relationships, the 2025 Treasurer's Report, a proposal for utility rate analysis, and increasing the mayor's spending authority. After thorough discussion, several of these items will be presented to the board in July. The Treasurer's Report will be published in the newspaper as well as posted on our village website. I'll now dive into the audit report a little bit. While everyone, of course, is welcome to stay, this is also a time if anyone wants to, I won't be offended, if anyone wants to make other use of their evening. Except you, Steve. All right. So presented tonight is the 2025 Annual Financial Report and Audit. This year, we began field work back in March with many hours spent updating schedules and gathering data requested by the audit team. Our accounting manager, Jimmy Scott, took lead on field work this year, which was completed in record time. A lot of time has gone into review of multiple drafts to bring you the report being presented tonight. The audit report has also been posted to the finance section of the website. I should also note, while we discussed hard copies, there is one slight adjustment that our lead auditor will discuss, which is the reason why once we get that final hard copy, I'll have hard copies available for those of you that requested them. I am pleased that our efforts this year have once again resulted in an audit presentation before our goal of June 30th, and that we received a clean management letter for the second year in a row. Last year, I said that the bar had been raised and I would work hard to keep it there. While 2025 brought its own set of unique challenges, I'm pleased with the results we were able to have presented to the board tonight. The hard work and time that Janice invested into our audit process cannot be commended enough. I am grateful and very lucky to have her on our team. Further, we plan on submitting this audit report to the Government Finance Officers Association, the GFOA, for consideration of the Award in Excellence for Financial Reporting. To my knowledge, this will be the first time we are submitting for the award. The audit will be reviewed by peer members of the GFOA, and we should find out results usually in about 6 months after submittal. I feel pretty confident that I think we've have a good shot to win the award in our first year submitting for it. For the presentation tonight, I'd like to introduce Ed Tracy, the Executive Vice President and Head of the Audit Practice at Selden Fox. This is the 5th year of our current engagement with Selden Fox to perform our audit and the 2nd year of our most recent 3-year extension. And now I'll turn it over to Ed for his presentation and comments on the 2025 audit. Just push the button and it'll turn green so that you know you're on.
Thank you for having me. Oops. Thank you for having me here this evening. One clarification, I'm the head of the government audit practice at our firm. I don't think our firm president would appreciate me taking his title. So tonight you were given 3 different documents, 2 letters, and then the audit report itself. I'm in draft form. The first document, and I'll just cover these really quickly because I know you don't have those on the screen, was a communication with those charged with governance. And this is a letter where if there's issues with performing the audit, not getting cooperation, disagreements in the accounting treatment of items, they're brought to your attention in this letter. Absent those issues, it becomes something of more of a boilerplate letter, just addressing specific topics. It does include as exhibit adjustments that were made during the audit, both to the fund financial statements and to the government-wide financial statements. I will say the number of adjustments to the fund financial statements continues to go down, and we just had a couple this year. And then the adjustments to the government-wide financial statements, which I'll explain a little bit more in a minute, is just converting your books and records to more of a long-term basis. It's recognizing fixed assets, long-term debt activity. And this stuff, while it's in adjustments to the exhibit, just came from financial records and schedules provided by Tony and Janice. So it's they're pretty standard in terms of the entries we make for the government-wide financial statements. The other letter was our management letter. It doesn't really have a title on it. It's just dated and addressed to the board. As Tony mentioned, there were no significant deficiencies, no material weaknesses noted during the audit. So the letter really just provides some detail on some future accounting standards that have been issued but not yet effective. And one of them in particular, well, actually all of them might have some effect on the village's financial statements, really their financial reporting, not necessarily their internal accounting, but these will become effective in the next year or 2. Our audit report itself, which I believe you was going to be on the screen, begins with our independent auditor's report, and that is we express an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which is the highest form of assurance that we can give that the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with governmental accounting principles. And if you want to jump ahead just a couple, just after, yeah, here. The opinion itself is, we give an opinion on the different, what we call opinion units. So we give a separate opinion on governmental activities, business type activities, each major fund, and then the remaining funds in the aggregate. And when we do our audit, we have separate materiality thresholds for each of these opinion units. Within there, it talks about each major fund, and a major fund is considered any fund that, if it's a governmental fund, the fund itself has either 10% or more of assets, liabilities, revenues, or expenses, and same for the enterprise funds. So this year, in addition to meeting those thresholds where it's required to be a major fund, the management can always elect to make something a major fund. So this year, Finance Director Vasquez and I discussed, and we included the motor fuel tax fund as a major fund as well. And what this means is it's presented separately in the combining statements, so that the non-major funds now are solely the SSA, the various SSA funds. After our opinion is a section called Management Discussion and Analysis. And this is just kind of a narrative summary of the year. It kind of follows a specific format. This format will change next year, as that's one of the new standards that I referenced that are issued but not effective. We'll address kind of the layout of the MD&A, but it does provide some comparative information in this Management Discussion and Analysis section, which again, I think is of good value. If you're not going to read through the entire report, which I don't know why, but if you're not, this is really the area you want to focus on. And the rest of the report begins with the basic financial statements, and I'm not going to go page to page. It's just, there's just so much information here. But I do want to give you a few highlights, just some of what I consider the more significant numbers within the financial statement. And again, this financial statement was marked draft because it's goes to the board for their approval before we issue final. Yes, as Tony mentioned, we do have to make one change related to a CD that matured and was inadvertently, the proceeds from the CD were inadvertently recorded as miscellaneous revenue. And so we just have to make that adjustment. We'll get that fixed, and it'll just swap out a few pages and we'll have you final documents. Just a couple of highlights. Like I said, the basic financial statements include government-wide financial statements and fund financial statements. Government-wide financial statements are on pages 4 to 7 of the report. This is more of a long-term perspective, fixed assets, long-term liabilities presented on the balance sheet. The fund financial statements present a more current perspective. They're under what's called the modified accrual basis. It's kind of a in between the full accrual and cash basis, and basically it focuses more on the current, the near term. And within these financial statements themselves, there's reconciliations between the two government-wide and fund financial statements. So if you're interested in what the differences are, what accounts for the differences, you can find those in the reconciliations. Just some financial numbers really quickly. The governmental activities in the government-wide financial statements, these kind of equate to the governmental funds. So these are everything but water and the sewer funds. Those are considered business type activities because they do not rely on taxes, but rather user fees for their revenues. The governmental activities had a positive bottom line of about 500,000. This was down a little bit from the prior year. Business type activities had a positive bottom line of about 215,000. This was up from the prior year. The general fund in the fund financial statements, general fund is the largest fund of the village. It makes up more than half of, more than half of the governmental funds. Had a positive bottom line of about just over 1 million prior to making transfers to other funds. Transfers were made to the capital projects and TIF2 funds in the current year. The general fund balance at the end of the year, this reserve, is approximately 1 year's worth of expenses. Overall, the government funds had a positive bottom line of about 725,000. A couple other notes, just kind of outside the financial statement itself. Capital asset activity during the current year was generally limited, about 300,000 of additions and about 390,000 of depreciation for government activities, about 90,000 additions and 385,000 of depreciation for business type activities. There's no new debt issued. You paid down about 120,000 worth of debt. Your IMRF net pension liability was essentially unchanged, and the IMRF is about 87% funded, which is up about 0.5% from the prior year. The general fund, as I mentioned, was the most significant fund of the village, and within that fund, revenues were over budget in the current year, expenses were under budget. And lastly, we did make a couple changes to the SSAs in terms of, and you'll see something called the prior period adjustment. This is just some reclassifications on the prior year report. SSA 23, which had previously been always reported within the general fund, was removed and reported separately. And then there was a reclassification within SSA 35 between special revenue and debt service funds. All these were relatively minor numbers. But again, just to sum up, we thank Tony and Jimmy for all their assistance. When we were able to come out, as I mentioned, we were able to get through our field work probably as fast as as quickly as we've ever had been able to do just because everything was ready for us when we came out. And so we certainly appreciated that. And the follow-up and, getting the reviews of the drafts and getting things through the final to the point where we are now. There's a lot of, it was very, the response time was great. So we certainly appreciated that as well.
Are there any questions for our auditor, please? Thank you very much. And thank you to our, oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Clayton.
You're about to do what I was going to do, so.
Okay. I want to commend our finance department, our finance director and our accounting manager. It's just night and day, night and day. Our history has not, as Ed knows, because he was here for a portion of it, we've not had the easiest financial books and records. And the clarity that we've achieved and the fact that we're getting clean letters, clean audit letters, second year in a row, the fact that we're going for an award, all of those kinds of things are just enormous accomplishments. It makes your job easier, I'm sure. And I don't have the words for it. It's just an honor to work with you, and it's such a privilege to have your skills and your abilities for this village. Makes a difference in our operations. Really appreciate it. And thank you for all your work too. We certainly appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Director Vasquez, anything else?
And I just thank you to you and the board for your support. And again, thank you to Jimmy's for your hard work since you've been here. I look forward to many more good audits.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Were there any other questions for our finance director, please? Okay, seeing none, treasurer's report. Don't think we have that this evening. Director of Community Services report. Director Witt, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So I only have one item to discuss. I might get a little lengthy. I hope I can speed through this. Last Saturday night, I responded to a call out from the police department to a property on Shawnee Trail where the underground fuel line was cut by a contractor installing a replacement water well. Subsequent conversations with the contractor and the homeowner concluded that the leak was probably more likely caused by deterioration of the tank itself due to the age of the tank that they felt was about 60 years old, give or take. It originally appeared that the leaking fluid was only water, but after a while, heating fuel oil came out. The fluid was being pumped out of the excavation that the contractor was making to install the service line into the house. So the fuel discharge actually went unnoticed until too late. That fluid was discharged toward the street, made its way across the front lawn into the drainage ditch, as verified by the fire district personnel that were on site. Due to the pending storms, I ordered the ditch to be dammed to prevent further dispersal. And that damming did work because the following day I came out and I took a look and the water was on the high side on one side of the dam and almost no water on the other. But we know that the fuel oil actually made it several properties down. We contacted several agencies, including Illinois Emergency Management Agency, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, the Illinois Office of the State Fire Marshal. And I was quite surprised that, unlike my experience with removal of commercial tanks, that nobody took responsibility for the removal of underground residential storage tanks. However, IEMA is still to get back to me. Evidently, somebody in their agency does. But in the meantime, through Attorney Hubert, we reached out to Anderson Environmental Consultants and discussed what Steve Anderson, who is the gentleman, the firm that worked with us for the hazardous material removal for the Federal Life Building. He indicated to us what he felt best practice for the industry is. And we're going to be engaging him to go out and do some testing as the remediation work will occur, which will hopefully start tomorrow and conclude sometime this week. So we are monitoring the situation. It's certainly under control. They will probably use a vector machine and essentially suck up all the ground that's contaminated, do testing to make sure that everything is actually removed, and then do some restoration work within the ditch. Fortunately, it occurred now. Considering next week, the subdivision is going to be torn up as the road program starts stripping the roads. Otherwise, we would have to put that project on delay in order to do the cleanup work and give them access to the ditch. So that really concludes the report. Just to let you know that these are certain things that seem to be very innocuous, but a small piece like that has just consumed the majority of the time, at least on my part in the building department for the last 2-3 days. It just puts everything else aside, but it's an important thing to react to and take care of for the environment.
Any questions? Trustee Smith?
Sure. So thank you for the update. Living in that neighborhood, I was not aware that there was a fuel leak. So I'm concerned that the residents weren't notified that the ditches were contaminated as we're walking, biking, and walking our dogs that sometimes like to play in water. Is that something that would normally have been done, or is that something that we should consider doing in the future?
Well, I would sincerely doubt that the residents would actually be walking in the ditch.
Dogs do.
And that's where the water would have been contained.
But dogs do, Director Witt. So
Who's talking? I think there was some difference between what people do for residential spills and commercial spills. But it is something we can think about in the future because I understand that that might not be the only underground fuel tank.
Yep.
I should have put that out. I would definitely put it out if something like that ever happens again.
I'm sorry, Chief Dano, I couldn't hear you.
I should have put that out, and I will definitely do it if something like that ever happens again.
There's notice and then there's creating panic. So there's a line in there someplace, and try to do better next time. And I hope there isn't a next time. Are there any other comments for our director tonight? Okay, seeing none, our attorney's report, please.
Only to let the board know that we've received yet another proposal for development of the 37 or 38 acre parcel on Milwaukee Avenue. Just at the very beginning phases. I mean, the property is being marketed. We've had brokers calling us. We've had different parties talking to us. So we'll keep you informed if this leads anywhere.
Are there any questions for our attorney this evening? Seeing none, police report. Chief, please.
Police activity is in the packet, and everything else I have is on the agenda.
I want to thank you for the honor of getting a challenge coin. And it is an honor too. And there are rules. So I'll share those rules with you at another time. But this is definitely an honor. And I treat it as such, and I hope everyone else treats it as such too. Any questions for our chief? Okay, seeing none, Plan Commission report. Chair Brightcoff, please.
Good evening. I actually have something to report.
All right.
Planning Commission met last night, June 15th. We voted to recommend approval of the Federal Life re-subdivision plat, which divides the original Lot 2, owned by the village, into lots 2, 3, 4, and 5, also owned by the village. Lots 3 and 4 would be used for detention and compensatory storage. Lot 5 sets apart the protected woodlands, which cannot be developed. And the re-subdivided Lot 2 could be improved by the village, for example, with a community garden, or it could eventually be sold. That's my report.
Are there any questions for our chair? Thank you very much. And while we have our chair of our Zoning Board of Appeals, I don't believe you met. So.
Below these many more months, I have nothing to report.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you. Fire District Report. Chief Kruger. Anything for the good of, I'm sorry, say again?
Finally made a meeting.
No.
Look at the firefighters coming.
Yeah. Step up. Press the button
There we go.
and you're good.
So nothing really to report, just that fireworks are illegal in Illinois. Just remind everybody, just go watch them or let them to the professionals. Luckily, there's been some rain, so, but nevertheless, we see it every year. We had a fire last year over on Inverary. Luckily, it got contained really quick, but fireworks landed on the roof and caught the townhome on fire. So nevertheless, just leave it to the professionals. And even though there's legislation right now, they want to legalize it, but the fire service is adamantly against it, obviously. That's all I have.
Are there any questions for our chief? Seeing none, thank you, and thank you to everyone for
You're
their
welcome.
service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Information items and comments from the president. I think I've been commenting all along, so I don't think I have anything in particular or special right now. Next item of business, visitors wishing to address the board for items that are not on the agenda. Okay, Randy.
A day without me saying something. It's always positive stuff, though. On the 27th, which is a week from this Saturday, we're having the 5th annual garage sale here at Village Hall. So we will be inside. We actually have 17 residents, our largest response. And for some reason, 6 of them came in like after deadline, but we accommodate. So much so we are actually going to need to be outside under the cover. So we always had one gentleman that liked to be out there. Now we have 2 other people that are joining us. So it should be a great event, and then we're going to be advertising and putting up signs, etc.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that reminds me, I should comment on the car show. I understand the car show was a big success. I showed up a little late, but there were a lot of cars. I think we've learned some things from the car show. One of which is administration is a good thing, and maybe we could, improve upon that a little bit next time. And parking lot. Again, our parking lot was not adequate to the job. There were some cars on Port Wine, but it just, the lesson I learned from that and from the unfortunate event about 2 months ago where we had to have emergency vehicles come into our parking lot, it might be time for us to take a look at the parking lot and think about some change. So again, the car show was great. The band was great. Everybody seemed to have a wonderful time. So again, lessons learned, but hope to do it again. And I hope yours is equally, if not more successful. But you will have 2 parking lots. This one only had 1. Yes. Okay.
Mad.
Pardon me? Oh, yes, trustee
Yeah,
Smith.
so I was at the Cars in the Woods event. It was great. A lot of cars there. North Shore Line was there, did another great job as the band. And then, of course, the Boy Scouts were there selling hot dogs or hamburgers. And then RPC was also there, so we thank them all for their support.
Okay, any comments? Okie dokie, moving on. New business. First item of new business is a resolution approving the Federal Life First Re-Subdivision Plat. Attorney Hubbard, can you please lead us through that, please?
Well, this was stems from the Plan Commission report that you just heard. If you turn to page 35 of the packet, it's probably the easiest way to visualize this. Just waiting to see everybody has found this, got to it. So when we acquired the Federal Life property, we caused a subdivision plat to be recorded, and it created 2 lots. One lot is the lot that the fire district owns, that's lot 1, and lot 2 was everything else, which the village owns. We, of course, used proceeds from Lake County to acquire Federal Life, and the exchange that we agreed to was that we would impose restrictive covenants over part of the property, permanent easements. These were the easements that the county was in the process of condemning and acquiring from Federal Life when the village stepped in to buy the property. And they needed the easements in order to provide for compensatory storage and detention. So if you look at the bottom of this page, you see as a result of the re-subdivision, the fire district's lot stays the same. It's not being touched by this. And lot 2 that the village owns is being redivided again. The nomenclature usually is lot 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the re-subdivision of lot 2. I didn't write it all out, but you get the point. Lot 3 and 4, as Chairman Brightcroft was talking about, are the lots on which the detention is either existing in lot 3's case, and it will be expanded, or lot 4, it will be created. Lot 2 is the leftover lot that the village will own at the end of all of this. It won't be subject to the restrictive covenants. And then you see that the street, Federal Life Lane, is dedicated by this plat, becomes a village street. The size of lot 2, if you couldn't read from the plat, is about 1.4 acres. So obviously, it'll be something that the board can decide about in the future. And the plat, if you look, I think I included the detailed detention and compensatory storage easement provisions. These are on sheet 2 of the plat. They're probably hard to read in reduced size, and that's why I printed them for you. If we approve this tonight, then we take steps to record the plat and have, at that point, for the most part, done just about all that we said we were going to do from a legal and easement standpoint with the county. And then we're trying to get to the point where we actually award the contract to create the detention on lot 4. The Director Rick can probably give you a better sense of timing, but we think we'll have, right now the schedule is to have permit drawings for our review by the end of the month. And then at some point we're going to try and get out to bid. Now, we also, I'll just mention this now, in trying to coordinate this work, it's fairly, a lot of parties involved. So in order to minimize some of the overlay in the coordination, we suggested that we use Christopher Burke Engineering as our project manager, because Christopher Burke is doing all the project management for the Deerfield Road project for Lake County. But we also agreed with the county, that was part of what we did in a recent amendment to our intergovernmental agreement, that the county would take the lead in expanding the detention on lot 3. The village is going to take the lead in constructing the new detention on lot 4. So in order, again, not to have too many chefs in the kitchen and not to have confusion, we'll also, when we get the permit drawings and start looking at putting together a bid package, we'll expect to be bringing back a proposal to the board to engage with Christopher Burke to provide the project management. The kind of fees that Christopher Burke gets for this are basically determined by the county because they have a formula for engineering in all of their projects. And essentially everyone understands that this is a reimbursement, a pass-through to the county in effect. But the village will be able to oversee the work on lot 4, hopefully create, we've had a lot of input into the design in terms of the slopes of the basin, the native landscaping that will be specified. Steve Zimmerman has been working on that. So, basically our intent is to try and get in and do as much of the work on the Federal Life property as we can before the county starts the work on Deerfield Road, which right now I think probably would begin in the spring of 27 if they keep to schedule. By that time, hopefully some of our landscaping will be in place, some of our soil erosion control measures and so forth. And we'll have something a little better to look at while the county is doing its work. So this is a plat of re-subdivision and divides the existing village lot into the lots that you see on this page.
Any questions? Jamerson, please.
Jamerson,
please.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. I noticed that the roadway, which is shown on there, is first of all, we're not sure we're going to put it all the way through, is my understanding right now. But you've platted it, which is fine. But it's also called Federal Life Lane.
We can change that. That's up to the board.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's a good name. We should name it something else. But we don't have to I mean, I just was curious.
Well, If you want to approve it, subject to the board deciding what the name is, that the only,
Well, we can change the name later. There's only one, there's
Yes,
only
you-
one lot on here
Yes.
that would even have an address, and that would be lot 2.
you can change the name later. It's kind of a placeholder. We had to decide. So we discussed this for probably way too long. And the idea was to make it easy for someone to remember because it had been the Federal Life property. But obviously it's up to the board to decide the name.
Yep, actually,
Trustee Smith, yes.
I had the same question as trustee Jamerson. I was thinking about the name of the road and even the name of the subdivision. So I was just thinking we could make it something more Riverwoods, nature-based than a company that decided to pull out of Riverwoods.
Well, the first,
The company was very generous, and they were a founding, they've been here for a very, very long time. And the owner of the company was I think continues to be a Riverwoods resident. So,
well, in terms of the name of the subdivision, the original one is already named. It's Federal Life Subdivision, and it would not be wise, in my judgment, to name the re-subdivision something other than Federal Life First
Sure.
Re-subdivision.
No, that makes sense. I didn't realize the history on that. Thank you.
do I have a motion for approval of the resolution, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Eastman,
Aye.
trustee Jamerson,
Aye.
trustee Raff,
Aye.
trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Trevino,
Aye.
trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Resolution 260606.
Thank you. Next item of new business is approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus personal property owned by the Village of Riverwoods.
The chief can.
Chief, would you like to lead us through that?
Sure. Not much here. We purchased a new car, as the board knows. The board approved the purchase, so now we're selling our oldest car, which is we want to sell our oldest car, 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe. And in addition, we also, as the board knows, bought 5 Panasonic Toughbooks, new ones for our vehicles. So we have 5 old ones that we also like to sell at an auction with Obanoff auction service in Round Lake.
Move to waive first reading.
Thank you for that. Do I have a second?
I'll second, but there's a typo.
Sorry.
Tahoe is Tahoe, but I second the motion.
Fix that. Thank you.
Scrivener error. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Do I have a motion for second reading and adoption, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Jamerson,
Aye.
trustee Raff,
Aye.
trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
And trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Ordinance 260606.
Okay, next order of new business is approval of a contract with Native Restoration Services for the 2026 Woodland Stewardship Program in the amount of $10,687. The information was in your packet. Does anyone have any questions? Trustee Clayton?
I had a little bit of difficulty looking at this from the standpoint of there's really no scope listed here other than there's an amount of money for each lot. It doesn't specifically say what's going to happen on each one of the properties. And I'm not sure where the bar was set for what needs to be done on each property. For example, it's entirely possible that the land east of or west of Village Hall here could take $10,000 in restoration in and of itself. I think it, and so I'm not sure how to compare this to other proposals because I'm not sure they were all based on the same scope.
Let me just, I think the answer is that there was a request for proposals and there were specifications in the bid that each one responded to. And if we'd included those, then it would have been better for you. Then you could see what each person was bidding to, and I don't know if I can pull them up now, but I don't know.
I don't have access to it here, but as our standard protocol, when a contract is actually issued to a vendor, not only does their proposal go in there, but a copy of the bid proposal is in the package as well. So the number is associated with the scope of work, with the insurance requirements, et cetera. But I do understand the concern is that as you read the packet, you don't have a full understanding of what that scope is. So perhaps for future memos, we'll put that in there so that you can see it.
I just found it. Let me just see. I
This is part of the 10-year program.
I just pulled it up. If you'd like, I can just give you a quick rundown of what was in the bid specs. It was Chianti lot, 6.2 acres, Village Hall lot, 5.5 acres, Rivenburg parcel, 9.2 acres, Woodland Preserve, 4.1 acres. Scope of work, spot application of herbicide to target species using various application methods, mowing of annual and biennial target species to prevent seed production, invasive shrub removal. Invasive woody shrubs shall be controlled within managed woodland areas. Woodland species identified on the species list shall be cut and stump treated as necessary to prevent resprouting. This goes on. Cut material over 2 inches in diameter shall be disposed of by brush pile burning, IEPA burn permit required, or chipping and removing from the site. Woody resprout treatment shall target both saplings and resprouting stumps using appropriate herbicide. Let's see if there's. So there's an aerial Steve Zimmerman prepared an aerial of each of the lots for the bid. And I guess what he conceived of is basically, this is just kind of basic maintenance, spot herbicide treatment, spot mowing, invasive shrub.
Recognize that this is a part and parcel of a long-term program. But I'm just concerned that with the changes that are going on in the climate and so on and so forth, that we are adequately addressing the scope of all the work that needs to be done on each one of the properties. And we haven't really heard from the village ecologist about that, but it sounds like a lot of work went into the specification of in the proposal, and perhaps that's where all the detail needs to be at this point. So at some point, I would like to really have an opportunity to have a dialogue with the village ecologist over what more could we be doing and what are the benefits of doing more, and how can we go about not only maintaining these properties, but perhaps doing some active restoration work going forward.
Are you suggesting I'm making a note so we make sure we do what you wanted to? Would you like the village ecologist to make a presentation at the board meeting perhaps next time?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. In the meantime, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay. And is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Raff,
Aye.
Trustee Smith,
Aye.
Trustee Trevino,
Aye.
Trustee Clayton,
Aye.
Trustee Eastman,
Aye.
and Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item of new business, approval of the purchase and installation of 2 servers from the Digital Currency Systems in an amount not to exceed $20,765. I believe that is Director Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Both the Village Hall and Police Station use computer servers that are maintained by Digital Currency Systems, DCS. Both existing servers were installed in 2015 and are approaching the end of their useful life. Without replacement, we could be at risk for the operating systems to no longer be supported or patched by Microsoft with critical security updates. With the current market conditions for computer technology items, it is likely that the price for servers will continue to rise in the near future. There is also several months lead time for the servers to be delivered and set up for our specific needs. Placing the order now will lock in the price and help us meet our target of having the existing servers replaced before the end of 2026. The purchase would be made through DCS since they are the company that will install and maintain the servers for us once they are in place. Normally, the quotes are only held for 7 days, but the vendor has agreed to hold pricing to allow time for board review and approval. The recommendation that staff brings tonight is for the approval of purchase and installation of 2 servers from DCS that are $10,382.50 each for a total amount not to exceed $20,765.
Is there a motion for approval, please?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? Trustee Jamerson, please.
So I have a question. Is any of our current, so this is the servers, one in the police station, one here, where we keep all of our information? Or are we putting stuff into the cloud?
So we do have some systems that are cloud-based. Our accounting software is cloud-based, for instance. The payroll system we use is cloud-based. So it is not everything, but it is where we have our files saved, our various drives where village documents are saved electronically.
Is there, so is there a reason why, can we put more in the cloud? Because cloud storage is getting cheaper by the day and hardware is getting more expensive. So I'm just curious if there's a reason why we don't have more. I know we still need some kind of equipment here to make all that work. But that's just a question. And it's not going to change my vote. I'm going to vote yes from this, but I'm just curious if have we looked into it?
A lot of our larger item files, like police video, that's all cloud-based.
Okay.
So
we're minimizing,
I'd say most of our gigabytes of information are in the cloud.
okay, so we're minimizing the storage on site pretty much. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
And Trustee Raff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, next item of new business is the approval of the purchase and installation of equipment to connect 3 lift stations to the Lake County Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System in an amount not to exceed $7,500. If I could lean on Director Witt here, please.
Okay, so the SCADA system is pretty essential with regard to the management and monitoring of the systems, particularly the lift stations. The county is looking to get us some electronic remote monitoring for those systems and equipment, which will should essentially prevent a situation as what we had in Thorngate last year. I think it was last year where we had the situation where the system went down and the village was not aware of that for a period of time. The county, in using the system, are able to monitor it on almost an immediate basis and understand where systems are starting to malfunction and be able to respond quicker so that we don't have outages. So this is looking at, as well, we're working on the 3 stations for both Trillium Lane, or for each of Trillium, Chicory, and Thorngate lift stations. They're looking to install that equipment while they're on site. There's some economy there for having them be there while they're putting in the panels, and they can get all that system in at the same time. So they're currently working on the Trillium station. They will then move probably, I don't know which of the other 2 will happen next, but all 3 are targeted to get done this year by the county.
Are there any questions? Trustee Jamerson.
Sorry.
It's good.
I think we currently have phone lines going to all these lift stations. Is this SCADA on the cellular network going to mean we won't have to have hard lines? Because I think Comcast is providing lines to each one of those stations now, and we're paying for that. So it would be an offset for the cost, the monthly cost, right?
It should be.
Do we know
yes.
that? I mean, we should be able to get rid of the hard lines.
We should be able to, yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I have a motion for approval, please.
So move.
Is there a second? Trustee Trevino, thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Trustee Raff.
Aye.
And Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Last item of new business, approval of the extension of an agreement with MGT for human resource services for a one-year period ended July 2, 2027. Director Vasquez, please.
Thank you. At the December 17th, 2024 board meeting, I informed the board of an initial 6-month agreement with MGT Impact Solutions to provide the village with an HR consultant. In June of 25, I reported to the board that our initial 6-month engagement with our consultant, Stefana Przybylski, exceeded our expectations as she provided excellent work at a very high level of professionalism. At that time, the board approved a 12-month extension for her to remain our HR consultant. We are nearing the end of the current agreement, and village staff would like to renew this agreement for another 12-month period. The proposed extension holds the same 5-hour monthly minimum, with the hourly rate increasing from $116 per hour to $121.80 per hour. This is a 5% increase. This increases the monthly minimum payment from $580 to $609, and the annual minimum amount from $6,960 to $7,308. Any work beyond the 5-hour retainer amount needs pre-approval from our staff and will be billed at that same rate of $121.80 per hour. In our agreement with our prior HR consultant that ended in 24, there was a 15-hour monthly minimum of $176 per hour, which was $2,650 a month or $31,800 per year as a minimum. In the first 11 months of the current engagement with our consultant, we averaged approximately 13 and a half hours per month for a total of $17,052 through this 11th month period. However, it should be noted that several months required significant additional HR assistance, including items related to and the work related to recruitment and interviews for our accounting manager position. Stefana has been a great resource in the 18 months that she has worked with the village. This time, staff is seeking approval to approve Exhibit A with MGT Impact Solutions for an HR consultant for an additional 12-month period, which will cover July 6th, 2026 to July 2nd, 2027.
Are there any questions or comments for discussion? May I have a motion for approval, please?
Excuse me, Chris. I just had one.
Trustee Smith, please.
I just had one basic question. So Attorney Huvard, I noticed that there was an updated, I think it was attachment A, which was the hourly rate. There was not an updated attachment B, which was the benefits that go along with it. The prior had like no benefits applicable. So maybe by definition, that continues to roll over. But I was wondering if that needed exhibit or attachment B needed to be updated as well. And finally, I was wondering why it was only signed by Mayor Ford and not countersigned by the consulting firm.
Well, I'm looking at, I think this is page 67 of the packet.
I can't see it.
So
I see it, but it's blank.
page 56 has the new Exhibit A, which will replace the original Exhibit A from page 66. The reason that was included is because last year, when we extended the initial 6 months to 12 months, we felt it would be prudent to include the entire original contract where, again, only Exhibit A is being updated. Exhibit B will remain the same of no benefit supply As far as the signature, I think we do have a version that's countersigned. We may have redacted that just because it's a non-village person signature.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
There any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion for, did I get a motion for approval already? I did, right? No, I did not. May I thank you, Jerry? Motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, okay. There any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Clayton.
Aye.
Trustee Eastman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamerson.
Aye.
Trustee Rath.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
And Trustee Trevino.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Under unfinished business, I think this deserves a bit of a comment. We've been having, staff, and I have been having some comments or conversations with Lake County on a variety of issues, to include Quick Trip. One of the things that we are working with, and those were wonderful discussions, good discussions. We've got a good partner in the county. One of the things that we need to get in order for Quick Trip is sewer service. Currently, we have an IGA with the county for sewer services, but that service area does not include the to be annexed property. So we need to work with the county on getting that amendment made to the IGA. We've begun that process, but in the interim, we believe deferring this is probably the best alternative, although I will say that discussions continue on a variety of levels, but that is critical to the development of that property. So unless you have any questions on that, we'll move right along to board comments. Anybody? Board comments?
I just have a quick comment.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Trustee Jamerson.
We talked earlier about parking, and I would just like to go on record to say that if we're going to do something with parking over here, it needs to be permeable. We can't just put more blacktop out here.
Oh, any kind of rough out plan, the board would
I
be
know, but
aware of, and
I just wanted to.
yeah, and certainly engineered consideration of the woodlands and the wetlands,
Okay.
if it's possible.
Well, yeah.
And then there's the if it's possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, our next, no reason to go into executive session. The next meeting time is the Committee of the Whole, July 7, 6:30 PM, followed immediately by the board meeting at 7:30 PM. Do I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second? All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Good night.